It's the book of Amos, chapter 1, when it's verse 11. It reads, "Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, Hashem Yahushai, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword, and did cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever. But I will send a fire upon Teman, which shall devour the palaces of Basra." I want to start off by giving all praises, all honor, all glory to God, Loyam, La Yahweh, Hashem Yahushai, Hashem HaKodash. I say double honors to the elders, to the apostles that learned this truth from. Peace and salutation to the Akim across the 4 corners of the earth, pushing this truth by faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and the freedom to do so. Now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akim and Aqua out there listening and learning. Lord, willingly, this is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations, but whom subscribe to this truth. To you I say shalom. It's the brother Yahweh coming at you with another lesson through the spirit and through the power of Yahweh, Hashem Yahushai. Yahweh meaning he is, he exists, or he to be. Hashem, Ba'az in, how is the Hashem his name. Yahushai meaning he saves or he delivers. True names of the Most High God and His Son, who these people they call God and Jesus Christ, whose true name in the Paleo Hebrew is Yahweh, Hashem Yahushai. This lesson is inspired by I saw an article pop up on my news break app, and I don't know how much I'm gonna read of it. I'm trying to do multitasking, but just showing you the perpetual hatred that this devil, so-called white man, red Hebrew Edomite, Adawam, he which the way is he, because he lacks, he doesn't lack it completely. He has a low amount of melanin. It says Ku Klux Klan items are found as Mississippi Department of Public Safety packs to move. So in the process of I guess them moving out of the building, they found items pertaining to their system of belief, which is for the most part, these devils, so-called white man, does not care for or love you so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, Seminole Indians, West Indians, and Haitians, God's true chosen people. It's funny because you had the Northern Kingdom. I was remember to listen to the brother. He was talking about how you got all these the Northern Kingdom, Ashashkar or Yeshashkar or Ephraim. They got the little good jobs, little city jobs or whatever. We with Donald Trump, and then he went after your peoples. Maybe not because the Venezuelans, I forgot what tribe they are, but at the same time, it's like, maybe not, because, Jake and Issachar and, Gad, they might not, the curses is heavy, so they might not actually agree with or understand the fact that we all, are of the same nation, with different tribes of the same nation. But, when it get bad enough, that's when people gonna want to, come together, you know what I mean? But coming together ain't gonna what's gonna deliver you. If Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua is in the midst of that, you gonna have a lot of people. You about to have a lot of individuals go to this war, right? And that's about to die, or be what's the word? How the brother deleted. The deleted word. You have to have a lot of individuals be deleted. And that's why he's sending troops, like thousands of troops, and you ain't really seen nothing yet. You got to understand them individuals, Iranians. They totally different. Vietnam literally is not as huge as Iran is, and yet still they put pressure, apply pressure to Esau Edom. So, we in some interesting times. It says Ku Klux Klan items are found as Mississippi Department of Public Safety packs to move, showing you never trust thine enemy. You know what I mean? You got forefathers of ours that actually can recall and recollect, incidents happening with Esau Edom and, these Ku Klux Klan and Klan members and all these different things. And that's why the scripture says never trust thine enemy, An individual like a DJ Trump that actually thinks he's superior to you, which yet still he's inferior. You know, I was listening to something Charleston White was saying. He was talking about Putin. He was going into how Putin this, and you got these different generals and different leaders of these different countries that actually, you know, possess martial skills or combat skills, or you know, they have these skills besides the fact that, you know, they was silver spoon fed. And, you know, you see the power of a leader because, you know, like look at the Ayatollah, you know, his people is fighting so hard because of the fact you took out their leader. I don't think that Trump will get the same response. Not saying that anything's going to happen to him. What I'm saying is this war is unpopular. You know, I was listening to a brother say something. He was saying, you know, it's like they just rushed and did it, and as if like the people just gonna jump aboard. And maybe they thought that. How you gonna make people to go to war at a time when people fucked up? And don't get me wrong, you got some individuals that would probably be like, well, I go, you know, but for the most part, people are up there trying not to go. You know, it says audio recordings is automated for. Oh, that's a picture of it. It says, audio recording is automated for accessibility. Humans wrote and edited the story. Mississippi Department of Public Safety officials stumbled across a catch of Ku Klux Klan material while cleaning out a closet to move to the department's new headquarters. Inside a small blue suitcase, they found a handbook for the White Knights of the Ku Klux Klan, the most violent white supremacist group in the 1960s, which carried out at least 10 killings. And that just shows you somebody that actually was, you know, that's an older individual. You know what I mean? That's somebody that, you know, probably, you know, you would never expect or suspect, you know, because Esau good at hiding his wickedness. But it's like right now, it's at the point where he not trying to hide it. You know, he blatantly doing it. Officials also found Klan charters, a Klan robe, KKK recruitment materials, propaganda, meeting notes, ledgers, and a list of members who paid or didn't pay their dues. Because it is a club, you know what I mean? Just like a Freemason. If only that robe could talk. You know, like I said, again, you know, who's to say, you know what I mean? Again, you got neo-Nazis, you know, you got all this different shit going on because you got all these, what will Esau Edom label hate groups that's all pretty much the Lord putting the spirit on everybody to get ready. The scriptures talk about in 2 Ezra chapter 15, one people should stand up and fight against another with swords in their hands. It says, said George Malvaney, who tells his journey from life as a Klansman to life in prison to life as an environmental regulator and a top executive helping clean up the 2010 oil spill on the coast in its memoir Cups Up. The department has given the Klan materials to the Mississippi Department of Archives and History, Mississippi Highway Patrol troopers and agents. So basically they're trying to say that this is something from back in the day. So somebody, there was a public official, you know, because you don't know who the person was, what his position was. This was somebody that worked for the government, you know, had a good job. So that's what they're trying to say. But you really believe that these people, you know, that ideology is not still, I mean, that's the Babylon the Great, a.k.a. America. I like how the brother put it. He said, America's over with. Now we in Babylon. And America was founded on the thoughts and opinions and this ideology of, you know, make America great again. And it's not coincidence that Donald Trump's whole slogan for running is make America great again. So for this to come out, it's just the Lord exposing. You know, scriptures talk about how the Lord is going to make Esau bare. What's that, Isaiah 47? So I ain't going to get too much more. It just kind of pissed me off. But, you know, I pulled up some scriptures, but you know, the devil's perpetual hatred for you is not going to go away because he's going to hate you until he's taken out the way. It's the book of Obadiah chapter 1, and I'm going to start at verse 9. I'm going to start at verse 8 because the Lord is destroying the wise men of Edom right now. It says, shall I not in that day, saith the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, even destroy the wise men out of Edom and understanding out of the mount of Esau? And that's why Esau Edom and DJ Trump and just this whole devil, this whole system is looking so, like, he looking stupid. But the thing is, all he knows is violence. You know, Hey, I forgot who said it or whatnot. They said that basically Donald Trump know that it's going the way it's gonna fall out. You know, he know he's gonna be unpopular, and he know that pretty much they gonna want to crucify him. But he said pretty much he's willing to take the blame because the system not going back to normal. You know what I mean? He got loyalists. You know, with that whole thing with the loyalists thing. You know, he got loyalists. Who you think them ICE agents is? And like they said, they might be the Mossad. So it ain't gonna be public opinion what they doing. Like if those are foreigner troops, what they wouldn't give a fuck. You know, that's why that's why they just attacking, you know, citizens and whoever is in the vicinity, you know, without impunity. They don't give a fuck because they more than likely that makes sense. Them not being of, you know, them not being Edom. I mean, Slovakia, not being Babylonians. Them being like, you know, Messiah agents or, you know, those fake ass, you know, those Israelis. So shall I not in that day, saith the Lord, even destroy the wise man out of Edom and understanding out of the mount of Esau, and thy mighty men, O Teman, shall be dismayed to the end that every one of the and to that every one of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. So that's what about chapter 1, what is it, talks about pretty much we having a huge bonfire. Verse 18, and the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble, and they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord hath spoken it. And that's why he's talking about they're going to be cut off, because they're going to be taken out the way. Genesis chapter 27. On to verse 41, because he has a perpetual hatred for you because pretty much, you know, we supplanted him out of the birthright. And the thing is, when you take time to think about it, how could you be mad at that? You know, you're supposed to be a spiritual man, you know, but yet still you did a carnal thing by you didn't care about your spiritual blessing. You cared about, you know, what you could have at the moment. Nigga, you should have fasted. Nigga, no. Verse 41. I'm going to start at verse 38. And Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth and of the dew of heaven from above. Because basically, you know, Esau Edom was a man of the field. You know, he would pretty much, he would hunt, you know, and he was a cunning hunter, and you know he hunts still to this day. That's why, you know, they talk about how the system's set up with all the snares and traps. You know, a fowler. You know, the scriptures talk about like one that layeth a pit, he shall fall through. This system that he coming up with to ensnare the world is going to ensnare his ass. Oh, he in a certain type of spirit. I was listening to a brother. He said these motherfuckers try to take over the world. And we take time to think about what they do. They really is. You ain't stressed thin yet. You sitting up here trying to go to war with Iran, but then you on the outskirts of Cuba. I hear they fucking with another country. They still fucking with Mexico. This motherfucker losing his mind. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth and of the dew of heaven from above, and by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass when thou shalt have the dominion that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand, then will I slay my brother Jacob. So it's a perpetual hatred because of the fact that, like I said, he was supplanted out of the birthright. You know, again, he was a man that, you know, was a cunning hunter, and Jacob or Jake, you know, was a plain man dwelling in the tents. You know, he just chilling up for the most part. Yeah, and you know, pretty much Esau the older brother, but Jacob was the, you know, the younger brother. But you know, they twins, and it tells you in the scriptures about pretty much how one hand held to the heel of Esau. Jacob held to the heel of Esau because he's gonna take him out of power. That was spiritual. So based on that, it's many of scriptures I could have got, but I ain't about to make this very long. I'm gonna just get, you know, based on that right there, just that whole, even if it was for something from the past and the Lord just exposing it, at the end of the day, that should give you that scripture, never trust thine enemy. Because again, you got Joe Bob down the fucking street that's smiling in your face, but then that's, You don't know what this motherfucker, you know, like, what was the dude, the director of the FBI? Hoover. You know, they say this motherfucker was stern and all this old shit, did late night or the late night, this motherfucker dressing up in heels and shit. This is a bugged out fucking place when you take time to think about it. Remember Oscar De La Hoya, this motherfucker walking around with heels on and shit? Like, yeah, man, this shit, man. Lord can't come fast enough. But, you know, the Lord gonna come at his time, and I pray that he give me the strength to endure and hold on. Because, again, we are in amazing, beautiful times. But like I said, just based on seeing that, you know, that you know, they talking about, oh, well, this is history. No, bitch, this is your nature. This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, book of Sirach, chapter 12, and point is verse 10. Never trust thy enemy, for like his iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as thou, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust hath not been altogether wiped away. Set him not by thee, lest when he have overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he sneak. At least he seek to take thy seat, and thou at the last remember my words and be pricked therewith. You're gonna be feeling stupid at the end of the shit. You know, and that's the funny thing about with the Iran and, you know, this devil done literally sitting up there talking about, oh yeah, let's have a ceasefire, let's have a ceasefire, let's negotiate, let's talk. But yet and still they sending troops. This motherfucker crazy. You ever just seen somebody really crazy, like my demon, or, you know, like my demon? This bitch ain't did nothing for these children in like 3 years, right? And then call as if like nothing ain't nothing. And I was like, damn, was I ever that, like, it's a piece of shit? I mean, I was a lot of things, but I ain't never, you know what I mean? I would look out for abroad children that want mine. So what the fuck am I going to, like, that's crazy. I mean, talk about, my brother used to always say deadbeat, you know, they always talk about deadbeat daddy, but you got deadbeat mamas out here. And that's what Babylon the Great created, the nigga bitch. Verse 13, who will pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent, or any such as come not wild beast? And you know what? I'm glad she did it. I'm glad I got to experience that, because I don't trust women now. You know what I mean? Like, again, I'm going to have the spirit on me. I mean, the Lord you got to be really a special motherfucker to catch my attention. I'm going to walk over your motherfucking body, bitch. Like, real talk. Like, I mean, no sympathy at all. Because I nobody had no sympathy for, you know, me, mine, you know, something like Tyson said. Tyson said, nigga, I want your children to cry, nigga. You know, like, he said, nigga, I want your children to cry so you see how I feel. The fuck? So, I mean, if you choose to be bitten by this snake, even though it's been exposed he's a snake, who's going to feel sorry for you? Not I. If you're a so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American, Seminole Indian, West Indian, or Haitian, I implore you to come back to the laws, statutes, and commandments of your power, whose true name in the Paleo-Hebrew is Yahweh, Hashem Yahushua, or you will be destroyed. And with that, I want to give all praise, all honor, all glory to call Elohim like Yahweh, Hashem Yahushua, Hashem Hakodash, double honors to the elders, to the apostles that I learned the truth from. Peace and salutations to the Akim, from the forefront of the earth, pushing his truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and their freedom to do so, now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akim and Aqua, thought they're listening and learning. Lord willingly, this is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations, whom subscribe to this truth. To you, I say shalom. Till next time, Lord willingly, shalom, shalom. Kwame Yasharala and Mawat Lababal.